Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Captain Quasar, and welcome back to another unofficial H3 waiting room. We have a few cool things to look at. They're not that cool, actually. Well, one is the former commentator for the Creator Clash 1 has come forward to talk about what his perspective is on the whole situation thus far. And the thing I think is interesting is that he seems all I watched was literally his first couple sentences, and from what it sounds like, he's actually getting into I don't know if it's amateur or professional, but he's getting into actual commentary for and commentating for different fighting events. So I think it would be interesting to hear from somebody who actually has more insight into the industry a little bit. But before we look at that, we have a few news articles, Instagram stories, and then some Reddit posts. So let's get right into it. Okay, so first I wanted to talk about a little update on Vitali. So this is coming from a Philippines website, Filipino website, I guess. I don't know how I'd say that. A website from the Philippines. Republic of Philippines, Philippine News Agency, Russian vlogger to serve sentence in Philippines. So this is coming from Manila. Russian vlogger Vitali will stay longer to serve his sentence in the Philippines for harassing and insulting Filipinos for content. Department of the Interior and Local Government Secretary John Vic Romulla said Sunday. My microphone like really quiet, or am I okay? I guess I'll see later. But Vitali will face trial next week for 3 counts of unjust vexation, with a possible jail time of 3 months and 1 year. Romulla said in news release. We will service his sentence. I made sure of that, he said. Romulla said Romulla said deportation is not an option as both Russia and the United States, where Vitali is a green card holder, refused to accept him. Cool. So both Russia and the United States were like, nah. The United States really said, Andrew Tate, sure. Vitali, nah. I guess it's just because Andrew Tate's an actual U.S. citizen. They're like, we gotta. But I guess good on them not letting Vitali come here. But he said the vlogger had written to him pleading for the charges to be dropped, citing mental health issues. Once proven guilty, Romulla said the 33-year-old Vitali may serve up to 18 months in a Bureau of Jail Management and Penology facility. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if those are just the general jails that we always see, but I don't know. It doesn't sound good. It's only a year, though, a year and a half. So I guess we'll see. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. earlier condemned Vitali's actions, saying he would not tolerate abuse disguised as entertainment. Vitali, arrested on April 3rd, was declared persona non grata in some countries because of his unusual behavior. He is also known by his username Vitali's DTV in the video sharing platform YouTube. But yeah, so it's not looking good for Vitali, but he's not looking at that bad of a sentence, Year and a half of just terrible prison conditions. All right. So I think this is from the moment when he also took this guy's hat or whatever. Try stealing their gun next. See what happens. Give it a shot. Not like don't shoot the gun. Just try and take it. Whoa. This is a little update on Johnny Somali. It also has I guess like their own thoughts too. Not just an update on the story, but kind of an update on the overarching landscape of nuisance influencers, which I think could be a little bit interesting, since they've seemed to become more prevalent in a lot of different countries. Honestly, they're moving around. They never stay in one place too long, or else they'll get arrested, like these people. But the trial of an American content creator whose disruptive and cultural insensitive acts sparked outrage in South Korea has fueled calls for sterner responses to these so-called nuisance influencers. Johnny Somali, whose real name is Ramzi Khalid Ismail, has been barred from leaving South Korea and faces 7 charges, including obstruction of business and violations of the Minor Offenses Act, according to local media. Ismail's, I'm going to just call him Johnny. Johnny's earlier charges were relatively minor, but at his second hearing on May 16th, my birthday, good news! He faced 2 serious charges of creating pornographic deepfakes, each carrying a maximum penalty of 10.5 years. Let's hope they really throw the book at him. The 24-year-old pleaded guilty to the 5 minor charges and not guilty to the sex charges. His next trial hearing is scheduled for August 13th. How is he going to try and get out of these? Isn't it all like on film? Trump might pardon Johnny. He is an American citizen. He should let Johnny out. Bring Johnny home to show us how much you care about America. Among the actions, he has been charged with are brandishing a dead fish on the subway, kissing a statue commemorating Korean World War II sex slaves, as well as holding up a Japanese rising sun flag and calling the disputed Lion Court rocks by their Japanese name of Takashima. So really just being disrespectful to any and everybody that he could find and their culture as a whole. The sex charges have to do with AI-generated deepfake pornographic videos featuring Johnny and a female South Korean live streamer. How is he going to get out of this? Why not just plead guilty? Pleading not guilty means you're going to get... Ooh, they're not going to look kindly on this. Because I thought it was just like random women or something. I didn't even know that it was a live streamer. The fact that it's a live streamer and he added himself into it too, like all of it's bad. It's always bad. Don't get me wrong. It's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm just saying the fact that he was doing it to somebody that's another like semi-public, I guess public figure, but someone else who's also in the public eye, as well as adding himself into it, is absolutely disgusting and shows the level of depravity that he's like, especially when he talks like when he's talking poorly about these like statues that are the commemoration of sex slaves, and then making like basically like what could be construed as like what could be taken as like maybe like an essay threat or something, just kind of like a weird, like, I don't even know. Very odd. That really just kind of, I don't know. That definitely is the worst of his charges. And let's hope they really do him in for it. What's good, Alex? Welcome in. No, yeah, and trying to commit crimes and then film yourself and later be like, "Well, it's not my fault." What's wrong with that? Maybe that's going to be his argument. I don't even know. Genuinely insane, but and unlike the previous charges in which he could simply be fined, this serious sexual offense carries a mandatory prison sentence of up to 7 years. Or wait, what was the 10? Okay, so this is kind of, maybe they mean together. I don't even know, because none of that adds up. But okay, but up to 7 years it says here. This is not simply an issue of digital mischief. Legal analyst Legal Mindset told Yahoo.com news website in March when the news charges were announced. This is a serious sexual offense, and South Korea's courts will treat it as such. When deepfakes are weaponized to humiliate or defame, the legal system responds with severe consequences. Because I guess that was my point. That's a way more articulate way of saying what I was trying to say as I stammered through it. Because it's not just about making the deepfakes, because obviously using someone's image for porn is wrong and disgusting, but to do it also to specifically humiliate and defame, not just because you're trying to, like, make money through fake porn or something. Like, there's reasons that I could see someone doing it that aren't necessarily malicious and just end up being, like, it's like the intent wasn't malicious, the product just ended up being detrimental. But when you're specifically doing it to humiliate and defame, the legal system will respond with severe consequences. It's the truth. There's no show today. I didn't see that. Is there a story update? I saw this. One sec. H3 last week coming in with the news. Ethan is sick. God damn it. Okay. Well, we'll get through my stuff still, I guess. We'll just end when we end. When isn't Ethan sick, to be completely honest? This guy. Okay. Well, we'll continue anyways. I guess let me update the there we go. I just updated the title a little bit, made it a little more apt. Nah, for real, L3, L3. Drop an L3, L3 in chat if you are sad. It's that damn Giardia. Got him again. Yeah, go advertise your episode. Go do it. Everyone, go watch H3 last week's Madman's new video. Good stuff, as always. But I continue. Nuisance influencers. Johnny represents a new kind of content creator who deliberately stirs up trouble in public to generate views and online visibility, or nuisance influencers, a term coined by CNN. On Johnny's trial, oh my god, I cannot read today. As Johnny's trial began in March, his compatriot and fellow influencer Ice Poseidon came under fire for a live stream in Busan where he and his companions rampaged in public, kicking rubbish bins and mocking Korean food. While riding in a taxi, he live streamed himself speaking Korean in an exaggerated tone, seemingly to ridicule the elderly driver. In response to these incidents, South Koreans are calling for authorities to respond sternly to Johnny's case to establish a strong precedent. I would agree. Tourists should always be polite. Tourism shouldn't be about making money. It should be about appreciating culture. Yeah, I just have to stream for a full 2 days until they start. The grind is real. The noise gate is too strong. What? I didn't change anything. What's happening to my mic? It's just slowly corrupting itself. God damn it. Do I just need to yell all the time? I guess let me try this, maybe? Maybe, okay, wait, maybe. And then let me try and talk like quiet. Let me try and talk like a little bit quieter. See if that's a little bit better. Okay, this might work. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. If it keeps cutting out, leave the video. Deal with it. Try. Something. What? The voice actor for John Redcorn died this morning? It's a good thing they're only doing like one season, right? They're not trying to do a full revival. So it's probably all done. They're gonna have to dedicate this. They're gonna have like such a long ending. The end screen is gonna be tiny because there's gonna be so many names for how many people died. God damn. R.I.P. the goats. Yeah, I have to use my big boy voice for it to be picked up. I'll try my best. Um, while Johnny was prosecuted, some said the initial response was, oh my god, some said the initial response from law enforcement was too lenient, allowing him to persist in harassing locals and disturbing public order. Sorry, gotta sound out the words sometimes. I hope a fair and firm ruling is delivered in Johnny Somali's case to prevent similar incidents from occurring in the future. Seo Kyung Duk, a liberal art professor at Sungshin Women's University, wrote on social media, a strong punishment should be imposed to set an example. Some of the country's netizens have also called for a boycott of streamers whose offensive behavior appears to be rewarded with attention and consequently ad revenue. Many people keep watching, commenting, and even subscribing while criticizing them. But that attention is exactly what feeds YouTubers like Somali, one user wrote on social media. People should stop giving them attention, and immigration authorities should prevent them from entering Korea. Hey man, you're making a fucking news article about it too. Don't give us don't act like the onus is on us to stop them. You know, it's a hot topic. So it sounds the noise gates just always sounded terrible. Is that what you're saying? It happens. Where was I? Ice Poseidon's Ice Poseidon has around 695,000 YouTube subscribers, while Johnny's channel has been suspended. Under the Immigration Control Act, a foreign national may be subject to deportation if their actions are deemed harmful to national interests or public safety, an immigration official told the Korea Herald. A comprehensive review of specific facts, including whether any laws were violated, is necessary before making a determination, the official added. I guess that's it. I guess that's it. I was seeing if this was if it continued, but I don't think it does. I think that was just the end of the article. Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep tabs on this because I am really wondering. I don't care to watch his videos because I know they're just annoying and bullshit, but I am interested in seeing him go to prison. That will be fun. Hey, it happens. Is it better now at least? Do I keep cutting out really bad? The thing is I just don't want it to pick up every time I'm like, oh, it's not. Maybe I figured it out. It's one of those things where it's like you don't notice it until you do, and once you notice it, you can't not notice it. You know what I mean? If that made any sense. But this was on Ethan's story, and I actually looked into this a little bit. Suspect used a flamethrower and yelled, "Free Palestine in Colorado attack," FBI says. Ethan said, "Can't wait to see people defending, setting children and elderly people on fire. By the way, these people are walking to show solidarity with the hostages. Completely humane and harmless folks." I watched two videos. One of after the people were on fire and got put out, and then one of when it was still kind of happening. It didn't appear like he had like a literal flamethrower. It looked like what he had was a spray bottle with alcohol, and then he was throwing Molotov cocktails. This was insane. Like, absolutely crazy stuff. And this is exactly what people are like afraid of when they encourage, like, when they say like Hamas's tactics are, justifiable and are, because of the genocide happening, that means that it's okay for these things to happen. Like, it's absolutely disgusting. It's even worse now. No, I pointed it out, and now everyone's gonna notice. Ah, wait, okay. Da, 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 da. Try here, maybe. Nope, that looks bad too. You know what? I'll just say fuck it. We'll just turn off the noise gate for today, and we'll see how that sounds. I'll listen back to it later, and if it sounds all right, I'll just leave it off. Nah, see, I don't like that. It's I can just see it underneath the whole time. Yeah, nah. God damn it, you guys. Give me a sec. I need to figure this out, or I'll go crazy. Yada 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 yada. Rada 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 rada. That okay. Wait, okay. I'm trying to figure out how to make this work best, but now I've honestly become confused as to which one matters the most in closed threshold and open thresholds. Become completely sidetracked here. The background noise is better. I just don't know if it's going to be good if like you hear like, just noises from outside while a video is playing. That's kind of the main complaint because I just know someone's just going to go by with a leaf blower. Sing "Do you have your passport" until you fix it? Okay. Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America? America, America. Do you have your passports? Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America? America, America. Do you have your passports? Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America? We're gonna. I'm gonna assume this is better. I'm like, okay, wait. Okay, I think that'll probably be the best. It'll pick up little things here and there. It's still, and it leaves a little bit of an open, it leaves an open end after the end of each sentence. Let me know if that's working. Because a little bit of background noise here and there when I'm like shuffling, I don't care about that too much. I care more about like if you can hear just somebody outside being like, "Oh, what's happening?" See, I know it's better because I'm just looking at the. I'm looking at this now. Because now I just see that it leaves an open end. It doesn't cut off at the end of each sentence, which I think is how it should be, but I guess we'll never know. We'll never know for sure. Okay, but moving on. Has anybody heard Tom's new beat? It's honestly a banger, as always. Tom's production, his production level is getting way better. I can't tell what he's using. I literally don't know what program this is. Absolute banger. If somebody tells me that here's the thing, Alex, if it's the same, I'm just going to leave it for today. But if it's worse, let me know that. Is it Ableton? Maybe his layout's just weird, I guess. I've only ever used a cracked version of FL Studios, and then I think it's called Cakewalk by I forget what company it is. It's not Band Labs. Band Labs made a thing called Cakewalk, which is like a free what do they what do you call it when it's a digital like I keep wanting to say MIDI, but I know that MIDI is the actual. That's like your board, whatever. Tom would make amazing game music. That's honestly so true. It would be so fitting for just like an overworld. Like if that was some top-down Legend of Zelda level, I would be like, wow. It's like it would be, I guess it wouldn't be Legend of Zelda. It'd be more like a Pokemon, like an old school Pokemon. But here is a new H3 conspiracy theory. I thought this was kind of funny. There was a period of time when he was absolutely obsessed with Belle Delphine because she was popular at the time and he has a comedy podcast. Nah, bro. He went on and on about her to the point it started to upset Hila. Belle didn't even know about his podcast, and after like a year, she eventually went on it. He definitely has obsessive traits. Yep, that's why once she went on, he like almost completely dropped it. Because he was so obsessed. He talks about what's popular. What can we say? I just think this is really funny because it's like, why are we reaching for everything? This is like when Trisha kept trying to get Ethan to like admit that he was into her. She's like, it's okay. Like, you don't have to keep lying. It's like, come on, guys. A daw, that's it. Thank you. A daw. That's it. Tom makes Roblox music. No, it's not an insult. Very true. You have a music minor, Alex? That's pretty dope. I never went to college because college is for nerds. Alex is a nerd. Ha 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 ha. Did you get shoved into any lockers while you were there by cool jock football players? That's what happens in college, right? I wouldn't know. I never went. But this was yet another insane take from Bad Empanada and Hassan. Are we even surprised at this point? But Hassan calls Hila and Ethan gross and nitpicks on Hila saying Gazan instead of Palestinians.
So when that happens, I'll pull it up in a minute.
It's really crazy how Hassan just doesn't want us to help Gazans.
Oh my God. Oh, they're so gross, dude. They're such disgusting genocidal propagandists. Oh my God. Oh, it's crazy how Hassan doesn't want us to help the Palestinians. Wait, did she even say Palestinians? Hold on, maybe she did.
It's really crazy how Hassan just doesn't want us to help Gazans.
Oh, she didn't even say Palestinians. She said Gazans. Yeah. Here, another great way to figure out Ahmed Al-Khatib being a bad faith actor is that he calls himself a Gazan American. He doesn't even call himself a Palestinian American. That designation does matter, for the record. Because of that designation that he self-applies. That's the reason why the Israeli Foreign Ministry or other Israeli politicians will routinely retweet Ahmed Al-Khatib. Okay?
I just think it's so funny because I think that the distinction between Palestinian American and Gazan American is important, but purely for the purpose of I think that it's drawing it's showing that he isn't just a descendant of Palestinians, because when the Palestinians were displaced, there were some that eventually came to America, and that's why there are Palestinians in America, and people that say Dating in Money 101 being like, I'm a Palestinian American, I'm a Palestinian, but I look Jewish, bro. I know that I look Jewish, but I'm actually Palestinian. It's like when he's drawing the distinction to show I was born in Gaza, I grew up there until I think he was 15 when he came to America. So I think the distinction does matter, but not because it's signaling to the IDF or something.
They do. Do you think that's normal? Do you feel like that's they would do that to a regular Palestinian living in Gaza?
No, I know there's no stream today, so I'm going to just go through the few things that I have. I have one more Reddit post and then the video about Creator Clash, and then we'll just call it a day. Nothing major. I'm going to be doing a stream tomorrow. I guess I'll pull up my video real quick. Where is my channel? View your channel. Let's see, how's it doing? Okay, it's doing all right. I dropped it almost 2 days ago at this point. It's called Internet Audit. Charlie Kirk, weaponizing God, guilt, and gotchas. Just a little shout out to myself. I was making sure I cut out the part where I actually read the quote where it says read this. But basically talking about Charlie Kirk, talking about all the different bullshit that he spouts, a little bit of a deep dive. But tomorrow I'm going to be doing a members only stream where I'm going to talk about I'm going to try and figure out the next video that I'm going to do at the end of this month, and I'm going to try and do those monthly. So just a little update on me. But continuing from what we last just saw, by his own standards, Hassan is an Israeli propagandist. So this is showing the level of hypocrisy that Hassan acts under.
Crazy how Hassan just doesn't want us to help Gazans.
Oh my god. Oh, they're so gross, dude. They're such disgusting genocidal propagandists. Oh my god. Oh, it's crazy how
Drawing a Trojan horse and Achilles is pretty dope. I like that it seems like your work keeps you pretty, like they keep giving you different stuff. It seems like you're never working on the same project, which is pretty nice. I could imagine that would get boring, but being able to have a variety of things to illustrate could be really fun. But back to the video, sorry. Got distracted by chat. We just talk about the illustrations sometimes. Pretty dope.
Hassan doesn't want us to help the Palestinians. Wait, did she even say Palestinians? Hold on, maybe she did.
It's really crazy how Hassan like just doesn't want us to help Gazans.
Oh, she didn't even say Palestinians. She said Gazans. Yeah. Here, another great way to figure out Ahmed Al-Khatib being a bad faith actor is that he calls himself a Gazan American. He doesn't even call himself a Palestinian American. That designation does matter. Disgusting. I read showed that there was a humanitarian crisis in Gaza, that Gazans did not have access to clean water. Gazans disgusting. All fucking infrastructure that Gazans and Palestinians as a whole have. Disgusting. Is to die, and certainly the Gazan civilians to die as well. Disgusting.
His whole thing would be, he'd argue, well, I'm talking about the people that live in Gaza. They're just making the conflation that all Palestinians should only ever live in Gaza and should never have any type of liberation. That's what they're actually saying, hidden and cloaked. It's pretty interesting, but yeah. Hassan, the hypocrite as usual. But this comes from Wade's World. Exposing creator clash. This is not a charity event.
For those of you that don't know, this is the Wade's World channel, and I also run a YouTube channel called The Wade Concept. And that channel has allowed me to become a boxing commentator and combat sports breakdown connoisseur. And in that journey, I have made a ton of strides. I have become a commentator for bigger companies like DAZN and The Ring magazine, who's also a licensed partner of my main channel. Outside of those parameters, the first opportunity I ever got to do boxing commentary was for a company called Creator Clash. And that was all the way back in 2023, I think. Maybe 2022. I'm not quite sure the timeline, but...
And again, I think that this is interesting. Thank you so much, Stacy, for the $10. Sharing the love on my birthday. My parents gave me a card with cash like I am 12 years old. Well, happy birthday. Shout out.
What I am sure about is...
But what I was going to say is, this is why I thought that this was important, because we're going to get insight from somebody who's actually worked with bigger promotions, so he can give a little bit more of a, clear cut, like, this is really unprofessional, that they haven't, like, talked to their fighters, or, whatever the case may be. So I think this will be pretty interesting.
I worked the first and second Creator Clash events, and while things started out very good, they have turned completely sour heading into this third event, and I have kind of been removed from it. I haven't really talked about it or thought about it or really checked in on what's been happening, because I wasn't going to be a part of the event this year. But I did some digging today on live stream, and I found out this is worse than I think I could have imagined. Not just because of Creator Clash 2 failing on pretty much every front, but because Creator Clash 3 may end up worse. And it's because of the one simple thing that's always plagued Creator Clash from really start to finish. And that is, at the very least, a lack of communication. At the very...
No. That is true. A lack of communication seems to be their biggest flaw. And not just because, like, communicating is important in any industry, but because these people are dedicating not just their money and their time, but their bodies to this craft. And they really should have been doing a better job at communicating with the fighters, like from start to finish.
First A full-on scandal. So let's break this entire thing down and talk about what went wrong with Creator Clash.
Everything.
There's a lot of things that we want to talk about, but first and foremost, we want to announce that Creator Clash 3 is moving dates and locations. October 25th, 2025 is the new date for Creator Clash, and now it is taking place at the Hollywood Palladium here in Los Angeles, California. Well, thank you. Wow. We don't have hype men, so I guess that's... with that comes a couple questions about ticket sales. A lot of people bought tickets for the Somali Arena show. All those will be refunded.
The first thing I want to break down for you here is I happen to know the Hollywood Palladium. I'm going to do this video from the perspective of outside, like just my perspective, what's going on. I don't know much of this stuff. We're going to dive into it today. But the first thing I notice about anything that's happened so far, they have gone from the Somali Arena in Tampa to the Palladium. I think this is a good move because the Somali Arena is a 20,000 seat arena. And you guys that have been in this, you know, content creator boxing, crossover boxing space know that I have always screamed at the top of my lungs that there's no reason to be booking massive venues if you're not going to sell them out. And this thing looked like it was one-way traffic toward completely underselling this event. If they even...
I'm sorry, Tiffany. Once I get that first YouTube payout, I'm gonna buy a year's plan. It's just, my God. Why does everything cost so much nowadays? You know what I mean? At least I talk through the ads.
We're going to have it. It was not going to sell 20,000 tickets. So they've moved it to the Palladium. I've been to the Palladium a couple different times. This is the type of event they need to be running for this. Especially with all the bad press, with all the stuff that went on with last year's event. It bombed on pay-per-view. They did do well to fill up the arena last year, but...
Didn't it bomb on pay-per-view because they didn't take any measures to stop like people from pirating it and like just streaming it illegally? So like one person bought it and then had like 4,000 people watching their stream and donating to them.
This was cascading events, and it wasn't looking good for the event.
I mean, it was an obvious move to swap arenas, and it like you could tell that the only reason that they chose the original place that they're what did you say, the Amarillo? What's it called? Whatever, but the only reason they chose that is because of the clout of being like, we gotta be at a 20,000 seat arena. We're gonna cut out half of those seats before even starting ticket sales, but you know it's still we're gonna do it there. It's unnecessary. You can still have an amazing event at like a smaller venue. It becomes more intimate in that way. And do it at the El Rey Theater. have them box on stage.
In general when they were supposed to have it. And then two of the co-founders, Ian and Anissa, pulled out of the event. They just pulled out. We're not being associated. And that was like a couple of weeks before the event was supposed to take place, which was also not sowing confidence into anyone's mind. So for them to reschedule this, push the date back, and put it in the Palladium where there's 4,000 people, and honestly, a lot more creators don't have to fly across the country because most of them live in either Los Angeles or the surrounding area, or maybe in Texas. It's a good move, is my point. This is the first right thing I have seen people involved with Creator Clash do since the first one.
We'll be updating you on when the new tickets will be on sale. If you bought pay-per-view tickets, those still stand. But if for whatever reason you would like a refund, they are offering that as well.
I'm excited to have it here too. There's so many people on like this side of the country.
Also, for whatever reason, I mean, people might want a refund on their pay-per-view ticket because from what at least I've seen, people have pulled out of this event. Like the entire main event. I think they just said the other guy that Harley was supposed to.
And yeah, thinking that you need the event to be like a bigger, better event each year. It only needs to be a better event each year. It doesn't need to be bigger in size or, you know, more like have fireworks or, you know, just whatever. It just needs to be more entertaining. Hire more, you know, I don't even know. I feel like there's certain things that they could have done to really bring Creator Clash up to the next level. And one of those things, like none of those things was going to a bigger event, like a bigger venue.
Fight. The Beast guy, he pulled out today. He's not doing it. So yeah.
And yeah, I mean, especially and I think that it's interesting to say this too, that they try to do a bigger venue when their biggest names this year are Harley Morenstein and LA Beast. Two people that were at one time mega YouTubers, but are, you know, have since kind of fallen in relevancy a bit and are now just more like YouTube royalty in a sense. So having them as like having them as the like main fight is a little bit kind of like you're expecting too much from those names to begin with, but then also having them drop out, there's no way they couldn't change venues at that point.
People probably would have their reasons for wanting the refund on the pay-per-view side of things too. It's good to know that they're going to get a refund for that too, because looks like 4 or 5 people have pulled out of this card that were supposed to be fighters on it.
So one thing that I misunderstood until talking to you guys at Real Good Touring was I thought that Ian and Anissa had like stepped back, but I thought that meant they were still involved. They have actually stepped.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I mean, is doing promotions with bigger names. Like, not just bringing people on to fight, but like having people as commentators, having more famous, like Aiden, like I said this the last time, like the last stream, Aiden Ross had Dana White come on to commentate for him. I know that they're friends, they're buddies, whatever, but spend a little bit more money on that and on the, like, you know, Instagram promotions, the YouTube promotions, make it more of like a production in those areas, and more people will flock to it, even if just for pay-per-view.
Down.
So yes, Ian and Anissa have stepped down completely. There's no creative involvement, there's no financial involvement, there's no ownership involvement. They completely gave their stake to us, including their financial stake there.
I guess here I'll add it to my I'll pin it to chat that there's no show today. Yeah, no show today. So I'm just gonna be streaming until we're done talking about this, and then I have to send you all off, and I'm so sorry. It's sad to say. I'll try and find some stuff to direct you towards before I'm done, though, so you'll have something.
Actually dispersed among the fighters, which is very cool of them to do.
Throw your questions at Aaron, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously you have to
Yell
acknowledge,
at me now.
we have to acknowledge that they, set the foundation for this event.
Yeah.
And it started out with such a positive mission statement. That's why I wanted to be involved in the first place. It is such a cool idea. A bunch of creators getting fit, punching each other in the face, and it's for charity. I feel like the message is so inherently positive that it's a shame that it became this dramatic internet thing that it never should have been, and I'm just very glad that attempts are being made to fix all that.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think it just became that way. I think it was a little bit of mixed messaging from the people that were putting on the event, and mostly Ian and Anissa. There was a lot that was said that everything was for charity, and now, again, I've never run a charity. I don't know how much of them are for profit, right? Proceeds from profit go to charity, but also a certain percentage of that goes back to the people putting on the charity events. I don't know. Maybe that's how it works. But that wasn't how it was sold, right? It wasn't sold that fighters were getting paid to do it on top of the charity proceeds. It wasn't sold as charities will only receive money if we turn a profit. People thought they were buying so that this would be given directly to charity. And I think that's why people got upset, is when the second one didn't do very well, and even in the first one when fighters were getting, some substantial payments, even though you're fighting, I don't have any problem with that, but you better tell people, you better communicate with people that that's what's happening. Right? Sure, lodging and hotels and all that stuff, and pay for training.
There is a necessary level that we would have accepted as funds. But from the way that it sounded like the way they had it split up, no donate, there was only 40-something% of the profit was going to charity. So that not even a majority of the money, which makes it, I just feel makes it even worse. Unless I was miscalculating what they were saying, but from what I gathered, it was, unless they were saying, or no, that's what it would have to be, right? 50, because they said 34% went to an Ian and Anissa, 20% went to split amongst all 12 fighters, or all 18 fighters somehow. So Still, I just don't understand how they did that, but that's 54%. So that would mean 46% would go to charity. Why not just round it up and make it 50? Why not take 30% instead of 34? Why'd you have to add that little bit? I don't get it.
Training purposes, that makes sense. But when you don't tell people that's what you're doing, and you just say it's all for charity, or it's going to charity, proceeds go to charity, then people do get a little sour when it comes to light.
I guess is that considered a level of fraud if they don't disclose that it's like percentage of proceeds go to charity? Because I feel like there's certain things that say that, right? Like when certain events do like charity stuff, they'll usually say percentage of proceeds or whatever. They'll never, or they will sometimes say that all proceeds will, but usually that's if all proceeds are going. All donations, all profit, all whatever. It's at least a level of false advertising, right? Eye scams.
That's not necessarily how it's all going.
Yeah, exactly. Like paying the arena and the people who work at the arena, not even just them, but security. Like there's like, because they're gonna have to hire all their own stuff too, like crews to run lighting rigs and run. Unless they have, I guess they might have crews for that at the venue, but depends, I suppose. They might have to hire a whole separate crew. But then, yeah, security and ushers and whatever else. There is like a level that we will accept. But 54% going to pockets feels a little weird.
One of the biggest questions that people have is about how the event was run in the past and what is going to be different about it now, because obviously the first year was crazy successful. There was over $1.3 million raised, and so that was incredible. Second year, we upped the stakes, we made it a little bigger, and unfortunately it did not pan out in the way that we wanted, and there was no money raised for charity, which was so heartbreaking, like especially like fighting in it, putting all of that time and energy into doing this thing. And like, I know for a lot of us, especially you, Alana.
I was going to say, he said they upped the stakes and wanted to go bigger.
I was going to say Aaron needs to get a new shirt. Because like, this looks like it's supposed to be like a crew neck and it's become a swoop neck.
They moved it to a bigger arena, but I just want to make sure that I'm not crazy. So they moved it from USF's basketball arena, which is where we were, 10,000. They doubled the capacity. They may not have sold out, Amalia, but they did do like 16 to 17,000 people. I don't think that the issue was necessarily bad ticket sales for them. I think the issue was when he says we wanted to go bigger. They did go bigger. They built up a massive double the size arena, but they spent bigger. It's not just about the place that they had the event. It's the hotel being completely rented out. It's the gala. It's the percentage that was going to fighters. It was, I assume, the media, the hosts that were being brought in. Another thing was there were a lot of people that weren't a part of the show that were there. I remember seeing the Hassan guy there. He was walking around in the hotel after, like at the little after party thing, like directly after the fights. Not the next day. The whole gala thing, I think, was the next day. I'm not saying that they brought him out there because I don't know that. But there were a lot of big influencer personalities, and I wonder, was this one of those Turkey Al-Sheikh bringing,
Was this one of those Turkey Tom things? I wonder.
Legends over to Saudi type of thing. The point I'm trying to make is it feels like the things they went bigger on that worked, they could have done and been fine. The things they went bigger on and didn't work, they didn't need. And that's the point where I hope that they realize that.
We were devastated. As a fighter and as a producer of the event, it was awful that happened. And the audience too, like to know that like buying into the event and watching the event, thinking that their money's going to charity, and then it's
the audience are the people that should be the most.
Oh my God! Happy Pride to everyone. That's why Ethan didn't want to. That's why he didn't want to do the show today. He didn't want to celebrate Pride. What a bigot. He didn't want to even give anyone a Pride minute. How sad.
Most mad because they didn't have any control over this. Not the audience too, the audience first. It was their money that was taken from them and not given to the thing they thought it was going to be given to. The audience doesn't care if the event profited or not. The audience doesn't care if anybody got paid outside of the thing that they paid their money for, which was these fighters are coming in because they want to put on a show for us. And
the gala for the event was dumb. They should have just thrown a pizza party for everyone.
we're paying them to do so, but we're paying for the charity that's proposed for them to do so. Not my money goes to this guy or her or him. My money goes to charity. And that's where the disconnect is happening.
The first two creator clashes, they ran on the same model. Naively, we believed that with the first creator clash that the success of the event would be shared with the charity. So funding it through various sponsorships, but mostly ticket sales and pay-per-view sales, pay for the event, and then everything else is gravy for charity, which luckily worked for that year. We raised $1.3 million for charity. It was great. With that thinking, we moved on to Creator Clash 2, scaled it up a bit, and it turned out that we weren't.
I gotta hear that again.
Would be believed that with the first Creator Clash that the success of the event would be shared with the charity. So funding it through various sponsorships, but mostly ticket sales and pay-per-view sales, pay for the event, and then everything else is gravy for charity. Which.
So they say they raised $1.3 million for charity in the first event. They also say that most of the funding for the event came from some sponsors, yes, but mostly ticket sales and pay-per-view. This would lead me to believe there was no investing in the event. There was no external investor in the event. Number one rule for a charity event, or really any event, is finding outside investment, so that you don't have to bear the burden of ticket sales and pay-per-view to pay back your event, so more of it goes to the thing that you told people it would go toward. Does that make sense? Like,
wait, the $1 million from Creator Clash 1 went to training cops? Did anyone tell Hassan about that part? Well, I mean, they do need the training. I'm not going to speak down on it. Like, that's not necessarily the worst thing it could go to, but probably not the best thing it could go to either.
even regular boxing events that are trying to turn money, they have investors that cover base costs. So you have this idea to run for charity. I'm sure there, I mean, again, I didn't run things, I don't know, but there are a lot of companies that are looking to invest their money into a charitable donation.
The truth is, behind closed doors, it became my secret sin at age 10.
Oh, it's an ad about porn. See, this is one of the reasons I don't want to get rid of I don't want to get rid of ads on YouTube. Sometimes they're just so interesting. I love getting the ones where it's just like from like a YouTube channel that has like 100 subscribers and it's just like some fat dude being like, and you're like, why did he pay for this? He paid to make this an advertisement on a video. I'm really trying to see why are you lying to me? Are you lying? Where are you getting your information, Alex? I'm looking at the wiki. It says $1.3 million were donated to the American Heart Association, Alzheimer Association, and Healing Horse Therapy Center. Oh, I get the best ads sometimes. Yeah, that's how we found C-Man, exactly. Yeah, I guess if you're in marketing, it makes sense to hate ads. Was the other one to police? You'll send me a timestamp, please. Please do.
Various reasons. So I'm kind of shocked by that there were no big-time external investors that could have covered base costs, so that those profits weren't the only thing that went to charity. The entirety of it went to charity. You know what I'm saying? And then you have the breakdown of the 1.3 million. And that's where I think people are also asking questions like how much of that went to charity? I don't know that we have the answer for that, but if we're doing the numbers, right? Let's just say that 1.3 is what went to charity. Because it said it was raised for charity, right? If 1.3 million was raised for charity, if that's the number we're saying went to charity, and fighters got 20%, and then Ian and Anissa got 34%, that would mean that the 1.3 million is 46% of something. So almost half. Again, if I'm reading this right.
You guys haven't gotten the anti-porn ads? Maybe YouTube just knows too much about me. Sad days.
Because I think we all know now that all of the profits didn't go to charity because there's baked in percentages, right? Am I meant to believe that they actually made $2.8 million on the event? This is what they said went to charity. So this is after the cost of the venue and production and all that. So if it made 2.8 million, which again, I could be wrong about, but we're a little bit in gray area here. If it made 2.8 million, we do 2.8 mil times 20% for fighters. So fighters got to split between themselves, or in some way, I don't know if it was even, but to split 560,000, right? How many fighters were on the card? Do we have 10 fights? So that's 20 fighters? This could be complete Steiner math, I'm not gonna lie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fights. So 18 fighters. So each fighter around $30,000. I don't know if that's to cover camps as well. Who knows? Then you have that 34%. I don't know that this is what actually happened, but if that's the case, that's the number it would work out to. 34% being the number that Ian and Anissa took of profits. That would give you still the 1.3 or around that to send to charity. But that would also mean they made $1 million on this event. That would be fucking crazy that you almost made as much as you gave to charity. Which,
oh, here. Alex sent this. Let's see. He said 111.35.
He's done the exercise, the person that you like decide when you're like buying pieces or like putting an outfit together, like, okay, who am I and why, what do I want to put forward? Cool. I like it.
Yeah, last year you guys raised 1.3 million. That was nice.
Yeah.
Where did you guys donate it to?
Alzheimer's was a big one, Alzheimer's Association, and they actually called us. I tweeted about it recently. They called us to tell us like where they put the money.
Oh.
And it made me pretty emotional, especially they put it towards a program to help train police to better deal with Alzheimer's patients. Because that's one of the hardest things, right? Is like your loved one is either putting themselves or other people in danger.
We're spending money to train the...
See, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. Like, that is it's a good cause, but I'm interested in, like, what that entails, like what the training entails, what areas they're doing it in, how far it's going to spread, what the impact actually was since then, because this was 2 years ago. But yeah.
Police not to kill people with Alzheimer's? Like, what a waste of fucking money.
I'd rather...
Like, the thing is like, it sounds good on, like, at face value, but when you start thinking about it, you're like, yeah, it feels like the last thing they should have to worry about. Like, my grandpa has dementia, and trust me, him acting up isn't going to cause any harm to anyone but himself. Like, really, they can get rowdy, they can get a little aggressive, it can happen, but if the police are really acting up, it really kind of is on them. But here, I want to see if they say anything else.
Someone do it.
Like, fuck the police.
Yeah, it's fucking scary.
Let's like, no, it's better spent telling these fucking hostile freaks not to kill.
No, yeah, I agree.
Research.
But like, if your loved one has a knife and they're scared and they don't know what's going on,
so
your
we need to
only
tell
option
them,
is
don't.
Well, it was 1.3 million split up across 3 different charities. This was just what went to Alzheimer treatment. So there were 3 different foundations. One of them was for Alzheimer's. The way the Alzheimer's Foundation the way they allocated their money was to either to another organization or just to some kind of thing to help train police officers about Alzheimer's. Which is like I'm saying, it's like it's good and it's, I don't know. I don't really care about it too much. It's like the police, I do think that the police should just kind of know this, and it shouldn't have to come from a foundation to pay them to have better training about treating the elderly. I do think that's definitely true. But if they are like beating the shit out of old people, like, it might be necessary, I guess.
Should.
Yeah, literally.
Teach them.
I'm not even
What
kidding.
it looks like to see someone with Alzheimer's.
And how to de-escalate. So that program is started, which is so important because
It's so weird.
I like that they keep trying to say it's important, and Ethan and Eli just go, what the fuck? It's so weird. I'm like both of them right now. I'm like basically playing both sides.
that's one of my biggest nightmares for sure. Is like having to like.
Yeah, it happens a lot. People with Alzheimer's are, I don't know if there's a statistic out there, but her dad had like plenty of encounters.
Like, I don't know if there's a statistic out there. Let me make one up.
With the police because he'll wander out of the house.
Yeah.
He'll, you know, and it's really hard in that period where you haven't been officially diagnosed because he's going to be going through his normal routines, and then somewhere along that routine he'll branch off and go somewhere maybe he shouldn't.
Well, even when he was diagnosed, it's hard, right? Because you don't want to take their freedom away, right? Like once you get diagnosed.
Yeah. And that's why I'm kind of like on the fence about it, because it does take money to develop the programs and like get the government to pay for them. I do agree with that. And the programs, if they're necessary, are necessary. But it does just seem almost like comedic to be like, we have to pay the police so that they stop beating the shit out of old people. Like that also kind of sounds crazy. So I'm definitely like, yeah, like there could have been, I don't know, like the money could have been used to actually like help like Alzheimer treatment, like, you know, like people that are maybe in like more destitute positions that might need being like to help people move into like maybe end of life care and stuff.
You know, if that's how you marketed it, that'd be fine. But that isn't how it was marketed. Now again, let's say our
you're getting married next week. Congratulations, Kitten, Pillar, and their lovely fiance. I'm sure it'll be a beautiful, splendid wedding. Blessed be the future you have together. Coming from the captain himself.
math is wrong, and let's say the entire profit, and by the way, you would have spent more than you gave to charity in the long run anyway, because that plus the 560 for fighters is actually 1.5. So let's say they didn't make 2 mil on the event. They very well could have, but let's say they didn't. Let's say they made the 1.3 mil, and that's the entirety of profits. Same math, 260,000 divided by 18. Each fighter gets 15K. I don't know who, again, did Dr. Mike make more than others? Was this really, how it was broken down? I'm not sure. But let's say that's what it was. Even then, we're assuming they're using the recently released profit split. That's what they said, right? That's what they said. They said that's what the profit split was. Even then, Ian and Nissa made out with 450 grand. If that's the same profit split, and we're using the number they said was raised for charity, I'm giving you two different options. And if that's the case, 442 plus 260 gives us 702, leaving us with 598,000 to charity. Either the entire profits made were 1.3 million and 600,000 went to charity, or
it was the 1.3 was specifically for the charities. Yeah.
The entire profits were 2.8 million, 1.3 million went to charity. Fighters took about 560,000, and Ian and this.
Yeah, Ethan's sick today. No, I should have put that in the fucking. Can I edit my message?
So took home $1 million. Regardless, they either made 450 or $1 million on the event, which is not what people thought they were paying for, and that's the whole point. I'm not saying they're wrong to take money for work you did, for creating, for founding, but you need to let people know how this is going to go. Otherwise, there is a bit of deception behind how that's marketed. And you can see why people would be upset to find out that their entirety, like, did my pay-per-view go to charity? Or did it go to a, you know what I'm saying? Like how much of it to them that may not seem fair. And that's a massive fucking payday.
So going into Creator Clash 3, we've completely restructured it. So all of the onus is on us to pay for the event, to produce the event through our partners, through our sponsors, and we will be doing a traditional fundraising through Tiltify. It's running right now. You can donate it to it right now. We've already raised $238,000, which is so awesome. That's gravy. That's going straight to charity. So every dollar.
A straight marriage during Pride Month. That means you're just getting gay married as a straight couple. I always like when people say gay marriage when they're like, are you getting gay married? Like what?
Dollar that is raised for charity through this event will be going straight to charity. The event will be funded by ticket sales, it will be funded by pay-per-view sales, and the fighters will be receiving a cut of that revenue.
Yeah, it's
So again, hold on. I'm a little confused because they said that the charity will be funded through ticket sales, through pay-per-views. It'll be obviously split with the fighters. They're being upfront about that. And how about this? If they would have done this from the beginning, I think people would have been more accepting. But they also said that this Tiltify thing is happening. Fundraiser on Tiltify.
There's the event pot, which is handled a very traditional event way, and then the charity is totally separate. So like even if you don't like watching boxing, you could still donate to the charity. It's up on Tiltify already. You can get involved immediately.
And it's very transparent of like, okay, you can see the number right now on your screen of how
Tiltify 100% charity. Got it. What they're saying is that will immediately go to charity. The fight operation of Creator Clash will still be operated pretty much in the same way they've been operating it, where if you pay to buy a ticket, if you pay for a pay-per-view, and of course their sponsors will fund the event. I still don't know why they aren't doing more with investors. Maybe they can't get people on board now, but you would think there would be more investors on board. Not sponsors, investors. People that want to invest into paying for the event, and then those proceeds then go to charity. But anyway.
As said, it's also really, really hard, so we have to give a shout out right now to the fighters who are training right now. It's like a bummer also for them that they like maybe have felt a little awkward recently about promoting the event and talking about it, and we want like everyone to like get back behind them and recognize like how hard they're training and how difficult it is to do this at all.
So insanely hard.
Well, they probably felt super weird and awkward about promoting it because they didn't even know it was happening. These people made this video and they rescheduled it today. It's not feeling, they didn't even know it was happening. How do you train? How do you promote? How do you do any of those things if you don't even know what's...
You stay ready. You stay at the top of your game, ready to throw down whenever the call comes. And if you're not ready to do that, you're not a real warrior. Not a real warrior assassin.
What's going on? And I know this video is meant to be the communication piece or whatever, but again, it's like people are spending thousands of dollars to get ready for this event, and it's not their fault that it's being mismanaged, or it has been, to the point where they don't know if they just spent however many thousands of dollars to do anything. Whether they get reimbursed or not, at least they could fight. Now, we do have a rescheduling for it, but they feel awkward because they don't know what the fuck's happening.
We should talk about, because there was confusion about this last year, even I was confused about how fighters get paid. The fighters do get paid.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, we want to make sure that the fighters are taken care of, you know, number one, and number two, that they're safe.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing for us. So fighters do get a purse, we're calling it. It's basically funding for training.
It's essentially a reimbursement.
Yeah.
It was frustrating having people think that we got paid for it. Yeah. Basically, the fighter's purse was for the thousands of dollars that we spent to train.
It's just to make sure people can do the event.
Yeah.
You can't.
This part is weird considering the fact that they are getting paid, right? Like, I don't understand what the point of saying this is. Because the amount they're getting paid back for, or maybe they are saying it's the same, because it'll probably add up to be about the same. Because, like, what are they paying? Maybe, like, over the course of the year, maybe, like, a couple $1,000s to, you know, a few $1,000s to, like, a training, you know, gym to train at, a gym to train at, and also, like, a trainer if they have, like, a specific trainer. So they could rack up pretty good amount. And that would probably be like if all they were getting like was 1% out of the profits, they probably would only get that amount to pay it back, maybe a little bit extra.
Can't ask creators to take all that time to box. A lot of people would have to say no if you couldn't at least cover the cost of their training or their food, right? Like, I had to set an alarm to remember to eat because I had to gain weight, so I spent a lot of money on meat, dude. like unironically. But it's also like all of your doctor's examinations, or you need to get like physical.
Again, and by the way, something that doesn't happen a lot is guys getting reimbursed in the sport of boxing. So your fighter purse does take.
Yeah, see, like that sounds about right. 12K, that's kind of what I was assuming. Like somewhere around 10K for like about a year. Like, because if they've been training since the last one, which is what they were saying, then yeah, having like personal trainer, a specific gym that you're paying a membership to, all that type of stuff, it'll rack up a good amount, honestly. But hey, you'll get the body you want and be fighting ready.
Care of a lot of.
And then you'll get, you know, either drop out of fights or have the fights fall through and get fucked over in the process. But I also just think it's weird to keep bringing this up about how like they're getting paid, even though the fighters that dropped out aren't. Like they're just kind of screwed out of their money. Because that's how it seemed. They didn't say that explicitly. But the way that they were saying that, like it's not, like they were volunteering. They're volunteering to fight. That gives me the feeling that they're saying, well, you decided to fight. If you don't want to fight anymore, why would we pay you back? It was your decision to not fight or something like that. Which, again, it makes sense. That happens in like, you know, in like professional fighting. If you don't show up, why would they pay you?
That, right?
But still, for a YouTube event like this, it feels a little weird.
You're fighting for a specific number, and in your mind, you know that, okay, I can spend this amount because I'm making this amount. If this was communicated to people, then that would have been no problem. It all just starts and stems back to communication. People would have had no problem going, hey, we're going to run this charity event, but also we do need to make sure these fighters are taken care of. All the same verbiage you just heard there. We want to make sure our fighters are safe. They are taking all their medical precautions. They are training adequately, that they can defend themselves in this fight. And to do so, we are going to take some of the proceeds that come toward this event to make sure we can reimburse our fighters for being here. And if you even wanted to put a number, 10,000 per fighter. Just communicate with people, and this doesn't happen.
So all fighters are receiving that. Moving the event means more training for them, which is something that we added to the budget to reimburse them for. And also, with the moving schedule, there may be some fighters that are dropping out just because they can't do it schedule-wise. And the replacement fighters will also be compensated for their work and time. But
there are other reasons that fighters have dropped out, and they're trying not to make this about Ian and Anissa, but Harley, in the video we watched yesterday with H3, essentially said that was the reason he dropped out, because of how political and how much drama had gotten involved with Ian and Anissa, and the lack of communication from them. I'm not sure if that's the case for everybody. We're going to take a look in a second when we get through this video, but there's a big reason why, and it's not just about the moving of schedules and pushing the fights back. It's probably more so about the lack of communication and just the uneasy nature of having to deal with a political commentary that goes along with a creator clash charity. Not only are you fighting on this thing, but now you need to debate Israel and Palestine. Like, you need to be in the midst of taking sides on a political issue because the founders and somebody not affiliated with the event are in a beef. So if you fight, it's like, what the fuck are we talking about?
It's going to be an awesome event. We're going to blow the roof off.
Let's punch cancer in the face.
Let's do it. The biggest bully of them all. Take it down.
Let's go. We'll see you all there.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, everyone.
All right. So do you guys not already feel a little bit better with people, no offense to anybody, but with people not as polarizing as Ian and Anissa trying to head this thing up? Immediately, I watch that video and I go, you know what? I may not, be involved with this or have any real interest in it, but I don't have to take a side to watch this event now. Part of the reason people did not really fuck with Creator Clash 3, especially after what happened at number 2, was because they felt like they needed to take sides on if you're going to watch the event or if you're not. If you're going to participate, but if you're not. Now, I don't think it'll be what it could have been. I don't even know what it could have been after number 2. People had lost a lot of faith after that. But anyway, that is the video that Creator Clash has put out. Now, there is a personality on YouTube that has been covering this thing damn near from the rip. I could go back so far. Let's just start here. Again, take everything you read here with a grain of salt, because I don't know how much of this is truth, how much isn't, but we're gonna get to some of it. But I asked for.
You know, Alex, I miss when there used to be snarkers in here too. I need to start making my titles more confrontational. Just make a title with just like Hassan is a fucking idiot, and then like just that's it, with a big picture of Hassan with a tiny little head. That'll get all the snarkers in.
For what has gone on and why has this become such a shit show? iDubbbz's friend made a video on accusing Ethan Klein, H3H3, of abusing his kids. We're not even through the first fucking sentence, which many believe led to CPS coming to investigate his house and interview his kids. Ethan's son had the stomach flu, which Ethan had openly inquired was, I don't even know how to pronounce that word, a form of diarrhea. Just the first sentence. A friend made a video accusing H3, the guy we watched yesterday, of abusing his kids? What the fuck are we talking about? And then CPS came to his house? Ethan's son had the stomach flu. Okay, all right, we'll move on. Ethan called out iDubbbz for being friends with people like that.
Okay, bro, don't act like you don't know what's going on when you're the one who put all this, like, stuff together. Either you did the research or you didn't. You can't have all of this stuff written down and be like, fucking, what is this? Godarda? What does it say? Like, you didn't have the wherewithal to look it up before reading it back? This almost looks like it was written in, like, the Notes app, too, on dark mode.
Fair. Who made it seem like Ethan's son was on the...
I know, it's just a basic... It's just the font looks like that.
...verge of dying. The kid was fine. I gotta... Giardia is actually a fairly common flu, I guess. But his friend made it sound like it was a rare disease that could kill the child. iDubbbz made a video saying Ethan's a bad person. And said Ethan may actually be a bad dad. Lena, AB's wife...
You think he's really just reading someone else's docket? Something someone else just made for him? That'd be interesting. Okay, if that's the case, then I guess I couldn't blame him. But I feel like he would have to have a little bit more insight because he was involved earlier. So I feel like he might have that he might inherently have more knowledge, but he would obviously be more interested having been involved in the past.
Don't know who that is. Wait, AB. What the fuck was the guy's? Was that the Star Killer? Lena dropped from.
Giardia, like it's Sanskrit. That's hilarious. I just love the idea of like, what language is this? What is this ancient text?
From the event as her and AB work. Yeah, okay. With H3. iDubbbz also collaborated with very far left content creators in his video about Ethan, which made many of the fighters on the card feel like participating in the event was an endorsement of those extreme beliefs. Supporting Hamas, saying America deserved 9/11. What the fuck? I don't even know what to say to any of that, but I gotta be honest, I don't know, again, this...
You're supposed to say you agree? Thank you very much. You're supposed to say, well, he's right, actually. So why does this even matter? That's what you're supposed to say? Zionist shill. Israel plant right here.
This is one person's retelling of the story, and I'm sure there's been millions of different angles, and I'm sure there's another side of this that probably doesn't make it sound like what's being said here, but if that is in any way true, I, as a fighter, would feel weird about it too, especially the fucking AB and his wife. Why would I fight on the person's card who's going after my boss, saying they're fucking abusing their children, saying they're...
Because they are abusing their children, and honestly, you're a bad person for not calling them out, but you're a good person for fighting in the fight still, and you should have went through with it. It's just like all these points are so true, and I don't get how anybody watches these things and has those reactions, like that genuinely watches this with like an open mind and goes, well, no, Ethan did let his kids roll around in shit. Well, what are you talking about?
They're bad people, bad parents, whatever. And then I'm gonna go fight on your event. And also, if I was a fighter, I just want to go and support charity, but now I'm being roped into this, you know, again, being supportive of Hamas or being supportive of Israel. Discussion that I don't want any place on. I just signed up to fight for charity. I didn't sign up to play divisive politics or to be complicit in or to have some sort of silent endorsement of it, one way or the other, which is insane. Anyway, there's the guy that's been covering this thing. It does feel like it's covered in a way that isn't very favorable to Ian and Anissa, but he's been covering it, so we have to talk about it. Nicholas Dior.
I was wondering if he was going to say Nicholas Diorio. Wait, how does he say it?
Ian and Anissa, but he's been covering it, so we have to talk about it. Nicholas Diordio.
Nicholas Diordio. You're looking right at it, and you read it wrong.
Didroyo.
How the fuck does?
Covering it, so we have to talk about it. Nicholas Diordio.
Oh, he's thinking it's like a Didrio. It still wouldn't be Dior Didro. It'd be Didrio. But it clearly right here it says Nicholas Diorio. So
Didroyo. I've seen this guy talk about it pretty extensively, and I'm trying to find the tweets where it started. I don't know what yeet is, but here's Dad talking about Creator Clash 3. I guess he talked about it yesterday or a couple days ago.
It's still going on. It's not happening June 28th. That's
gonna hurt yourself on.
Out
Shut
there
up
now. So I can say that, but the official announcement will come out soon, this week, I think. So I'm still pumped. I'm still ready to go. It's not going to happen in June, and now that it's not happening in Florida and it's in LA, that will be good for me. And hopefully people can still come out here for that. If you did buy tickets for the fight in person in Tampa or the pay-per-view, you will get refunded for that. You will get your money back. So that's good. And if you can come to LA, that'd be amazing, because I'm trying to set up a after party, which I wanted to do the second year. I want to set up an after party / DJ show where I/Dad DJ. Dad's gonna
DJ Dad after show. After fighting? Okay, man.
DJ after party type thing, or not even not like an after party, because I don't want to make it sound like it's associated with the event. It's my own thing that I want to do, where Dad has like a dance party. And I wanted to do that after the second fight, but wasn't able to set it up in Florida. So maybe now I can. So anyway, it's still happening. I'm still fighting Jago. Apparently that's his name. I thought it was Jago. And apparently he's 25. I thought he was 28. He's younger than I thought. So the dude's literally 20 years younger than me. So we'll see how.
Did he say he's fighting a guy named Jagoff? I was half paying attention while I was reading chat. Did he say Jagoff?
Jago.
Oh, Jago.
Apparently that's his name. I thought it was Jago.
Oh, he said Jago. Okay. I just heard that wrong. I was reading chat.
And apparently he's 25. I thought he was 20.
Dad is low-key been having like a midlife crisis, or a post-midlife crisis, I guess. His views have fallen off quite a bit, and he's been trying to jump around to different like types of content, movie reviews, video games, just trying to figure it out. I remember I saw one a while back. It looks like his views had honestly gone up, because I remember I had checked in at one point and he had like a week's worth of views that were all like 500, 200, but maybe because Creator Clash has come back, he's kind of had a bit of a resurgence. But I can tell that he's really hanging on to this as like something to help promote himself, which is good. But he's probably one of the only fighters that's like talking about it publicly, like more than just to say, hey guys, I'm in the fight. Be ready on this date. Actually, this date.
He's younger than I thought. So the dude's literally 20 years younger than me. So we'll see how that goes.
So then we go back to this individual, Nicholas Diorio, and he through tweets has been covering the situation. Ethan calls out Creator Clash, Ian and Anissa after news of LA Beast dropping the event. Okay, so earlier today, LA Beast, who was the other half of the main event, dropped out before I think the video came out that they made. So this is obviously from the perspective of H3. Doesn't mean that that's the full thing, but
well, you don't get it, Soul. Dad isn't a nickname. Dad is a character that Nathan Barnett does. He has like a bunch of different characters. I forget what all of their names are, but because he started as a dancer. he used to do like, you know, flash mob style dances where he would just go in public and do crazy stuff. And so he would like dress up as like a, you know, like a nerd or like kind of like a pedophile or something. That's at least the way I interpreted the videos. But then he would just go out and dancing in public. But Dad became his most famous character and became like its own like universe where he had like he's a robot and like all this different shit. But yeah, it's not the best thing to use as your name, because just looking up a Dad all the time gets people like Joe Rogan thinking that he really beat up his son. Like, that's probably why using the name Dad isn't that good of an idea. But he should have stuck with Dad Bot, because I'm pretty sure what it was originally was Dad Bot. And that makes so much more sense.
LABs, due to a laundry list of reasons that will be revealed to you shortly, I unfortunately will no longer be boxing in the Creator Clash event. It's the best decision for me and my team at this point. All I wanted to do was put on a show, get paid, and ultimately raise money for charity. Unfortunately, that's not how it worked out. Sometimes plans fall through and you've got to pick up the pieces and continue to move forward. Now, interesting that this guy says, I just wanted to put on a show, get paid, and ultimately raise money. He's being upfront with what he wanted to do out of the situation. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's not how it was sold to people, at least not the first two times. Ethan said it's a shame.
Here, we can watch the clip of Joe Rogan and Dad talking about Dad. Because honestly, it is one of the best clips out there. God damn it. Okay, there we go.
Stop dreaming, start booking. Your next trip is just a deal away on Priceline.
Wow, who uses Priceline actually?
I saw a video today of a boxing match between a father and a son. It made me so sad. Because there's this young kid. He looks like he's probably like 17 or 18, and the father's 42. And the father beats the shit out of him. I mean, like, dings him in the head and keeps punching him. I'm like, that's your son. That's your son. And we're watching you beat your son up. Because I get your son probably got cocky with you, and he celebrates after he knocks his son out. It made me so sad. Because first of all, I'm like, that kid has brain damage now. 100%. Maybe it's just a little. Maybe he'll be fine. Maybe he'll get over it. But maybe you fucked him up. That can happen too. He might be depressed from now on after that. It might...
Yeah, rocking the NASA suit while he says this makes it that much better.
It fuck up his pituitary gland. It happens to people. And you just did that to your son. You're supposed to, like, touch him up. You're supposed to not even hurt him. Like, slam him in the body a little bit. Like, you think he can fight? Okay, good dude. Okay, let's have a little boxing match. You don't tee off on your son's face on television. It's crazy.
How old was the kid?
Kid looks young. To me, he looks like, you know, he could be 20. He could be 19. He looks young. He's real skinny. And the father's kind of jacked. Not too jacked, but, you know, he's fit. And he could fucking punch. He knows how to box. And the son doesn't look like he has any idea what the fuck he's doing. I don't know what the thing was. Like, someone sent it to me, and they were, like, cheering that this old guy knocked his son out. I was like, you guys are crazy. That you failed. You've failed as a man. Yeah, this is it.
That's not exactly what was happening.
It's not? What is it?
They're not father-son.
Oh, why does it lie? It says father knocks out son in celebrity boxing match.
Gotta give somebody the clip.
I forgot this is where the why does it lie. This is where the why does it lie clip comes from.
On this.
Oh,
why does it
like
lie?
A YouTuber thing. This guy's a YouTuber and he's a YouTuber.
I'm such a sucker.
Yeah, you said it, not us. Great clip. So yeah, maybe Dad isn't the best name to go by.
They just used all these people for vanity project that was doomed from the start. LAB seemed to be taking it very seriously, according to Harley. Feel really bad for the guy. Hopefully they at least pay him back for the training. True. This is the thing, too. Harley has dropped out of the event after training. This guy's dropped out after training. Are they going to reimburse them even if they didn't fight? Probably not, because that's usually not how it works. But damn, it's not really the fighter's fault this time. Usually if a fighter pulls out of a fight, the promotion's not going to reimburse them for training because you got injured, or you didn't want to fight, or something else happened. But when the event itself is so in flux that it's up in the air whether it's going to happen or not, and then it changes to a couple of months later where you may have had things already planned because you are a content creator before you're a fighter, that's not very fair. to the people that have trained. So how do you reimburse them? Not a question we have answers to yet. Here's Ethan. This is their announcement. Just quietly changed the date on their Twitter bio. No, I think he jumped the gun on this one. But Ian and Anissa can never pay back the time he lost with his family.
He did one of the creator clashes and he doesn't know her name is Anissa.
I guess this is LA Beast. Best to step away. You made the right call here. Other ways of making some money for charity. Pick it up, dust yourself off. Have a good day. How's it gotten to this point is a real bummer. Selfishness on the part of a select few, has taken away from the charity aspect and fighters who put on the sacrifice, the gym training the last few months. I sacrificed my time away from my newborn son and wife to train 5-6 days a week. Yikes. Well, that puts, again, a select few under the microscope. I'm not sure why people don't just say it's Ian and Anissa if that's what they think, too. Like, just come out and say it. So we have that. Let's look at the iDubbbz tweet. I wanted to clear some things up now that Anissa and I are no longer a part of Creator Clash. When I announced CC3, it's a new business model. The communication wasn't clear. That seems to be a reoccurring theme throughout Creator Clash. Looking back on my video and the current reaction, it was obvious it was too vague. Again, they should have learned this after number 2. Things were too vague at number 2. So to come back and be vague again in Creator Clash 3 shows me that you didn't learn anything. And this is not like they just announced the event right after number 2. They had 2 years. When the number 1 complaint coming out of number 2 was there was not a clear communication as to where money went, and people are upset about that, especially seeing as the money that was promised was to go to charity didn't go there because they couldn't make a profit. Looking back on the video and the current reactions, obviously it was too vague. It remains true that I earned a fight purse for CC1 along with other fighters, and we did not profit at all from CC2. After CC2 failed to raise any money for charity, we knew it was time for a different business model. We restructured so that the funds from our charity partner would be...
Anissa blocked you because you made a silly little 34% joke. And she's the one calling Ethan a pussy for not using Twitter at all. Come on.
Raised on Tiltify, separate and apart from the actual event.
Come say this to my face on Twitter so I can block you.
We then decided that this year we would take a profit share from the for-profit side of the event, should the for-profit side even succeed.
You didn't profit at all from Creator Clash 2, but neither did the charity. They didn't get any money from it until you did a separate stream. But beyond that, I earned a fighter purse. I earned a fight purse. Was your fight purse just larger than the rest? Because that 34%
exceed. I feel
34% is astronomical.
So sorry for any confusion that Anissa and I have caused. We know the event is in good hands now and wish it all the success. So I'm just confused here. Again, this didn't clear anything up. It remains true that I earned a fight purse for CC1 along with other fighters. Where did the rest of the money go? This didn't clear that up. Not that we need to go, how much did you earn versus, I mean, some people are going to do that. How much did you earn? We just want like a concrete, what was the amount that went directly to charity? That's really the only answer people need. And how much did you profit? That way we know how much was not given to charity and how much was. And then he says, and we did not profit at all from CC2. We meaning Creator Clash, we meaning myself and Anissa. And he says we restructured so that funds from our charity partner would be raised on Tiltify separate and apart from the actual event. Then we decided this year we would take a profit share for the for-profit side of the event. Should the for-profit side of the event succeed. Just say that we are doing an event to make money. We're going to put on a Creator Clash. But the charity side is this. If you want to donate to charity, it really doesn't have anything to do with the event. So they really should stop calling it a charity event if they're not having the people that buy. This is how people get confused. That's not even more clear. It's almost like putting a fucking hat on and then putting a hat on top of that hat instead of just fucking taking the hat off. It's so like You're over-explaining something to make us more confused. So, okay, for the last time.
I mean, he's both over-explaining and under-explaining because he's still not giving clarification on the things like he just said, like, what do you mean by we? Who is we in this instance? Because you are also Creator Clash at that point. So, like, who didn't make profit?
This is a regular boxing event that has a charity attached to it that if you want to completely separate from the event, donate, and I'm sure they'll plug the charity, you can do that. But if you buy this event, if you buy a ticket, if you buy a pay-per-view, you're buying a boxing event, and that money goes to the fighters and the production and the renting of the venue. But you're telling people it's a charity event. Stop telling people that because it's not what it is. That was the whole issue with the lack of communication behind number 1 and 2, that it's a charity event, charity event, charity event. It's not a charity event. It's a boxing event that you are perpendicularly associating with a separate charity that has nothing to do with people buying the boxing event. I was a part of the event and didn't know any of this.
Damn Badger. Sorry to hear that it's your day off and there's no podcast. I agree that petting cats is a good way to spend your day. I also think it's funny to be like, go outside, smell the roses. I know that's not how you meant it, but that's just kind of... Go smell the roses. You're wasting time.
I didn't know where money is going. Outside of the fact that I was offered and said, no, I'm all good on that. I want to be there to support. And because they...
No, yeah, and that's why it's like it's a double-edged sword. He didn't promote Creator Clash because of people thinking that they were trying to do it like they were trying to make money through charity or something. But then through not promoting, they ended up not raising enough money through charity. Or enough money for charity, not through charity.
They gave me an opportunity, which I'll always be grateful for, but this side of stuff is very weird. What is this that I just got sent from April 2025? A clip just resurfaced from 2022 where iDubbbz and Anissa downplayed the charity aspect of Creator Clash. They describe it more as an influencer party or VidCon competitor. The main goal is to get people paid who are involved in making it happen. Uh-oh.
I see.
If it works out, then we can do that, and there could always be a charity aspect to it. But I think the main goal is just to get the people paid who are involved in making it happen rather than like making exorbitant amounts of money.
So your goal is to build an institution.
This is like the weirdest thing to draw attention to. He took a sip of water, and it looked like the smallest sip ever, but he acted like it was like a whole mouthful.
VidCon competitor. The main goal is to get people paid who are involved in making it happen. Uh-oh.
I see.
If it works out, then we can do that, and there could always be a charity aspect to it.
There's like a tiny bit of water in there.
I think
look, he has to tilt it all the way up to get it in his mouth.
Main goal is just to get the
people. He was like cheeks full.
Paid who are involved in making it happen.
Took him a second to swallow it all. I don't know, just a little, just something I noticed. Completely unnecessary and pointless to point out, but I don't know, that stood out to me for some reason.
Rather than
he's the real fraudster. I no longer believe any of this video.
Making exorbitant amounts of money.
So your goal is to build an institution of sorts, this Creator Clash, where you can have people.
Fun.
There's a champion every year.
Yeah, it's a party.
Interesting.
It's like a way more exciting VidCon. Or like I want it to be like influencers can like care about this and fans can care about this and like you can go watch it and have like a build up, like maybe parties before and like stuff like that.
Yeah, because we've gone to like the last Jake Paul event and it was crazy the amount of influencers that were there, excited to see it. They weren't all my cup of tea.
Sure.
But it was exciting. Everyone wanted to be there. It was fun, and I think if we can harness some of that, but have it be even more exciting because all of our fighters are mystery fights. You don't know how it's going to go. And then you have this, charity element. It's just like a win all around.
So in the future, maybe there'll be more profits potentially for you guys.
Potentially, but we're not looking at that really.
I see what's happened here, man. They went to, and they're talking about 2022. I have to assume this is around the time where Jake fought Tyron Woodley. They saw the success of influencer boxing. They saw the success of Jake Paul in influencer boxing. And by the way, I think that first fight was, or that second fight was in Florida as well, if I'm not mistaken. And they went, we want a piece of that. Makes sense. No big deal. The problem is you don't hear the enthusiasm about it being charity event, charity event, charity event, charity event, charity event, over and over and over here, like it was marketed when it came to fruition. Now, all the stuff they're saying there is legitimately what they tried to do. They want it to be a party. They want it to be like VidCon. They want it to be like influencers all gathered in one place. That's what happened. Especially, again, my memory is failing me with number one, because I was just happy to be there in my hotel room fucking locking in and studying. But number two, I did see a lot of influencers there. I did feel a little bit out of place and like it was a bit more VidCon-y than an actual fight event and like a party, all under the guise of a charity event, when that's an element. No, that was the entire selling point, was influencer boxing charity event. This is not good, man. And again, people wonder why number two didn't go the way they wanted to. Number three is up in the air. People are upset. They're asking about the number. Where's the money going? People wonder why, but that's the side, that right there is why. Again, if you market it that way the entire time and you're very specific about where money is going, that's fine. But that is not what's going to get a groundswell of support. Charity will. I have a feeling that there's more vague spots here. Right after he said it was obviously vague, it feels like the next two sentences or the next sentence is also vague. It remains true that I earned a fight purse and we did not profit at all from CC2. But you're also the co-founder of the company. And again, according to this new distribution, there was a further 34% profit share originally that was going to be allocated to them. Is that because of the switch? Or was there maybe 20% that went to other fighters and Ian himself got a bigger percentage? Again, would not be a problem because you're the main event, because you're the co-founder. That would not be a problem. You know who else does that? Jake Paul does that. Jake Paul on MVP events gets a higher percentage of pay-per-view cut than anybody else as a fighter, because he's the fucking co-owner of MVP, and also gets a fight purse because he's the main event fighter. But again, that's not how this was marketed. That's not what people thought they were buying. So even if this is the numbers that we use to try to make a calculation that may not be accurate, I think there's some vagueness of what Ian is saying here that leads you people to believe that he just got the same purse as every other fighter. Where he says, I earned a fight purse along with the other fighters. I don't know if that's the case, if it was just the same, right? And not to be pocket checking or whatever, but people should know that you got more, because that was not the point of the event to people. Anyway, so here is the verbiage of the new one, which we kind of just have beaten into the ground, but this is just, we'll just keep talking about it here. What's happening with fundraising and charity? Fundraising efforts will continue and expand in the lead up to the new event date. All funds raised so far are secure and unaffected. The Creator Class 3 broadcast will once again be run as a charity stream, with Stand Up to Cancer remaining our exclusive beneficiary. Funds raised through the Creator Clash Tiltify campaign go directly to the charity. All donations and designated fundraising proceeds go to Stand Up to Cancer. You couldn't explain this any worse, except if you didn't explain it, and this may be worse. This is crazy. This is word salad. The Creator Class 3 broadcast will once again be run as a charity stream, with Stand Up to Cancer remaining our exclusive beneficiary. But the thing they're not saying is when you buy the stream, that's not where the money goes. That's not what happens. You can't call this a charity stream if none of the money that people use to buy the stream goes to charity. I can't believe this.
And using the term exclusive here is saying that it is the only beneficiary, but it almost makes it sound like the money is only going to this, like that's the only where the current amount, I don't know, I don't even think that it's them trying to cover their tracks or anything like that. I feel like it really is just them being really bad at wording stuff and really not knowing how to clarify what they're trying to do.
You can't say that, man. You can't. Because look at the next paragraph. While Creator Clash is traditionally promoted for-profit event, the financial success of the event does not impact the amount raised for charity. But you just said the broadcast will once again be run as a charity stream. So how does an event achieve success? Let's fucking make this as simple as possible. How does a boxing event achieve success? By people buying the broadcast, whether at home, on pay-per-view, or coming to the venue. If the broadcast is marketed as a charity stream, but the financial success of the event does not impact the amount raised for charity. How the fuck does that work? Hey guys, buy the charity stream. But none of the financial success of said buying of the charity stream is going to impact the amount given to charity. What? It's like, just say one thing. The Creator Class 3 broadcast will be run as a for-profit event, and the financial success of the event does not impact the amount raised for charity. Second paragraph. Funds raised through the Creator Class Tiltify campaign go directly to charity, with Stand Up to Cancer remaining our exclusive beneficiary. All donations and design fundraising proceeds go to Stand Up for Cancer. That's all you had to say.
Yeah, this part, because that's what they're saying, is that it's a charity stream because any donations that they make are going to charity, not the pay-per-view, or like the pay-per-view costs are going to charity.
If you literally just reword this, it works. But you can't run an event, say that it's a charity stream, that the broadcast is run as a charity stream, and then say everything that you guys pay for to watch the broadcast doesn't go to charity. That's fucking banana lands. Like that's crazy. And then there's this. We kind of looked at it already, but yes, each fighter receives a guaranteed purse to help cover training, preparation. Fine. That's good. Hey, it's finally in writing. In addition, 20% of net profits will be given from the event will be evenly split among the fighters. Okay, so this is something we didn't know. Not only are fighters getting their purse, right, which is what we heard in the video, that fighters will be given a purse to cover their training expenses, which is fine, fair. Now they're getting a percentage of pay-per-view. And I don't know if that's the way it worked before, because I'm so fucking confused right now. Maybe that's the point, to completely confuse you. But this now is 20% on top of the purse that the fighters are going to get, which again is fine. They're explaining it here. Cool. But it's hard to get on board with this when you say that it's a charity stream. A further 34% profit share originally allocated to Ian and Anissa is also being redistributed among the fighters following their departure. So really, fighters get 54% of the profit share and a purse. Jesus Christ. All right, fighters getting the fucking bag, son. Okay. Now, this is only if the event is successful, right? So you're hearing profit, profit, profit. This is only if the event is successful. Now, you guys may be a little confused. None of this goes to charity, okay? None of the amount of money that is being spent on the actual event, I need you to understand, none of it goes to charity. So the other 46%, that leads me to believe that they believe that 46% of profits will cover their ass when it comes to renting the venue, all the hotels, the travel, the production.
Well, no, I think that would come out of full revenue, not just profit, right? Because like there's the full net revenue, and then there's the amount they get from profit. The revenue would cover the like the costs or whatever, the cost of doing the event.
And costs, all that. That's what I think.
Unless I guess maybe he's saying that little bit is meant to, like, if there is any extra things that they have to cover, which I guess would also make sense.
46% is meant to cover their expenses, and the other 54, I guess, is just to fighters. Then that's fine. But again, just say that, and don't say it's a charity stream. So this is where you will donate to benefit charity for Creator Clash 3. Right here. This has nothing to do with the event. If you didn't watch a single round of boxing, and wanted to donate to charity, this is where you would go. You could legitimately say, I donated to Creator Clash and never watched the event. The problem is, and this is all great, by the way. You can't really deny that raising this amount of money for charity is awesome. Problem is, they are not marketing it that way. That one lady in the sit down was the most clear about it, but what they're saying is not what's happening. They are, once again, calling this a charity stream. Nothing like in the event in general has to do with charity. Nothing about the stream, the broadcast, the venue, the fighters. The event in general has to do with charity. It is just alongside the event, there is this. They're saying it's a part of Creator Clash 3, and maybe they'll promo it on the. Hopefully they'll promo it in the event, but you're not supporting charity if you support Creator Clash 3 unless you do both. If I go to creatorclash.com, hold on a second. This part right here could get really fucking weird, and it just hit my fucking brainstem. Now, granted, if you're already on the website, here's the donate now button, right? And it's in clear view, whatever. But if you do want to get more information and you go to creatorclash.com and you think, oh, let me just buy a ticket, you may generally think you're buying an actual ticket for charity, and you're not. You're buying it for the event. And that's it. Now, what is this? 100% of net proceeds will benefit Stand Up to Cancer. So can you donate here and it goes to the thing? Let's try it. Because this is important. This is important. I want to see if this works. What's the number at right now? 237,886. Just a little test here. A little test. I don't know when it hits the grandstand here. Let's give it some time. I want to see where that goes. I didn't drop 50. I dropped 10. We need this number to say 89659. That's what we need that number to say. It'll take some time. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make with this entire thing is it's very difficult unless you give people a walkthrough to even know that this is a part of, like, you could not know how to, like, what the add-ons is, whatever. There's no direction for people to click on that, like click on the add-ons to benefit Stand Up to Cancer. Instead, there's just this, right? There's just the click on the ticket. So if you were reading that this was a charity stream and you had no idea where the link was to go, because I didn't, you have no idea where the link is to go to Tiltify, but you know Creator Clash because you watched a couple of them, or because you know your influencers, and they're going to put the link to creatorclash.com in their description. And you go and buy this ticket, you're not contributing to charity. This is not a charity stream to you. You just bought.
Which is just even weirder because, yeah, they're going, hey, anybody who wants to come watch us, pay $40 for a ticket and then also go donate to charity. So why wouldn't I just go donate to charity on my own and then just say, fuck your event that I... Because like I'm saying, most of the like big names are gone. And so who's going to watch it? The people who are in it still are barely even promoting it.
But a boxing event, no big deal. But saying like fundraising on behalf, while you're not doing the fundraising for the event, there's a separate entity that does it, is just odd. It's just an odd thing, man. Just an odd thing. Anyway.
No, yeah, Ethan's sick today, so no stream. He got Giardia 2. The sequel.
You guys let me know, should we keep diving down this disgusting rabbit hole of debauchery and fucking drama mixed with real life issues and Creator Clash confusion? I don't know. But they're saying it's a charity event, but the reality is this is a boxing event that has the option for you to donate to charity. The vague miswording, mishandling, up in the air, back and forth, involving Israel-Palestine, and then kind of ditching the event from Ian and Anissa. It's all completely destroyed this event. And it's a sad thing because this thing, it started as a come-together moment that everybody could get involved in, and we all really felt good about. To now see where it's gone is such a damn shame. But what happens next for Creator Clash? I guess we'll keep up and see what they say. But as of right now, I don't have those answers. So, guess we'll find out.
Crazy stuff. I do want to see what this is real quick.
Stop. Pick at the cotton faster! How funny if there was one Confederate Asian.
I would love to be that guy.
What do we love? He's like, slavery! That's the movie we should write for you?
Yeah.
Is the only Asian Confederate?
Yeah. What if this happened, right? He comes from China. I always assumed, like, when Chinese people back in the day came here, they gave them options.
Listen here.
Listen here, man.
China boy.
Laundromat?
Opium den.
Opium den, right?
Railroads.
Or
Confederate soldier. So what you want to do?
Yeah. And he's like, what is Confederate soldier?
You love America?
What did that involve?
Well, do you love America?
I love it.
You're perfect for the job.
Great stuff. Yeah, did Hassan talk about the 34%? That's the real important part. And I hate to do it to you. I love you all. I really do appreciate everybody that stopped in today, but I'm going to call it here. Really sorry there is no show. I would recommend going and checking out Alex the Fiction, H3 last week. Go check out Alex's new video about all the different H3, orbit channels. So That would be my recommendation for all of you. I really do appreciate everybody that came in. I have to go do some things now. So this is Captain Quasar signing off. Yes, Haley's comment and H3 Chill.